Hi, it is Sarah with Yoga for Classrooms, and I am here today with a question I get from educators all the time. And the question is, what do I do if a student refuses to participate in Yoga for Classrooms mindful moments? It's such a great question, but the answer might surprise you. The short answer is it's totally okay if students don't want to participate. Yoga for Classrooms is all about not forcing participation. We are really striving to make sure that mindful moments are trauma informed and really making sure that we are meeting the needs of students. And that means that we are really making sure that we continue to prioritize one of our main principles, which is honoring individual choice and autonomy. We want this to be a tool students use because they find it beneficial, but we don't want them to feel forced or required to do something that doesn't feel comfortable. We talk all the time about how Yoga for Classrooms is striving to create classroom cultures where students feel safe, they feel respected, they feel empowered. And so then what we think is when we build those types of classrooms, participation will likely follow naturally. So let's talk about what this might look like in practice. Imagine you've invited your class to participate in maybe our one of our Let's Breathe activities, one of our breathing exercises to, get a nice refresh, reset in the day. And maybe most of the students in your class join in and are really participating, following along. But one student sits in the back, crosses their arms, looks away, or simply says, "Nope, not gonna do it." We've all been there, right? I certainly have. So instead of seeing this as a problem to solve, just view it as information about how that student is feeling. So you might reflect, is the student feeling self-conscious? Is the student feeling put on the spot? Does maybe the student need time to observe to make that feel more comfortable? Um, have there been times in the classroom that experiencing, participating in something like this has made them feel uncomfortable? Maybe they felt like someone laughed at them sometime. Or maybe they just aren't in the headspace to participate in that mindful moment. And that's totally okay. So, what I want to urge you to do in that moment is invite participation, but don't require it. So, you might say something like, "You're welcome to join us," or you can just sit quietly and observe. That's fine too. So, you're communicating to your students they belong and that their boundaries are being respected. So, you can tell them, they can either participate or you can sit quietly and observe. I even do that when I train adults in Yoga for Classrooms. I often say, if you don't feel comfortable, participating in the mindful moment with a bunch of other people around or maybe on a Zoom screen, I always invite my participants to just quietly observe as well. So again, you're communicating those two important pieces. You're a part of our class, you belong here, but I'm also feeling that respect. That student is going to feel like you've respected their boundaries and you're teaching them an important skill, and it's okay to set boundaries. And what we often see, and what I saw all the time as a school counselor, is when I communicate that, when I invite participation and I don't require it, most likely those hesitant students will then become more engaged and will want to participate. So again, giving them that opportunity to watch, some students just need to see what it looks like in practice before they try it. That is why at Yoga for Classrooms, we really emphasize frequent mindful moments, the consistency, the continuation of these mindful moments, because most likely, even if they refuse today or right now, they won't refuse forever. So giving those mindful moments consistently, those opportunities for mindful moments consistently will really help give them opportunities to participate in the future. And what we see so many times in Yoga for Classrooms is that when these practices become predictable and an accepted part of the classroom routine, students will want to participate. They'll feel like they can on their own terms. Let's see, what else do I want to emphasize here? So, oh, the last piece I'll just say is if you are continuing to see a student who doesn't want to participate and you're afraid that, they're just going to continue refusing, and you don't really know what's going on, then get curious with that student. I always say it's okay to be curious about what's going on with our students as long as we have the conversation privately, make sure we do it in a safe way, and we ask questions. And we're not convincing them to participate, we're not accusing them of anything. We're not trying to shame them into participating, but be curious about what's going on. So when you approach it with curiosity, when you say something like, I've noticed you prefer not to participate in a mindful moment. Is there anything you want me to know? Is there anything that, happens when we begin our mindful moment? That type of curiosity isn't convincing, it's not shaming, it's not reactive, it's not them in trouble, but it's showing the students that you want to understand their experience, you want to understand how they're feeling, and that it is a safe place to voice how you're feeling in that moment. And again, that you're going to be respectful in how you hear out what they're saying. So, with all of that, again, at the end of the day, Yoga for Classrooms is all about creating opportunities, not obligations. I love that phrase. We want to give our students opportunities to practice mindful moments, but we don't want it to become something that they don't want to participate in because they feel forced or shamed into it. So we plant seeds, and you never know where those seeds might take students down the road. Some students will jump right in, some will need more time, some might never participate in your class, but will come back to you years from now and say they used the tools that they observed, even though they never practiced them. So just know that that student choice, that acceptance, that respect, that safety in our classrooms is so, so, so important, way more important than forced participation. So with that, I hope that that is helpful in thinking through what you would do if a student refuses to participate. I hope that gives you some good ideas. And again, just continue to stay consistent, respect choice, create that sense of safety in the classroom, and we have no doubt that you'll have a more calm and connected and compassionate classroom. So, thank you for joining, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye bye.